Hey, you're welcome back to my channel. I think it's now a good time to wish you a Merry Christmas and then a prosperous New Year. I pray the New Year brings a lot of good tidings to us, and then please stay safe during this festive season, and let's all be watchful. Subscribe to this if you have not, and let's get on to today's news because, of course, the European Super League is back in the news and it's making a lot of waves. I'm going to be taking time to explain what really it entails and what really goes into it, how many clubs are still standing by it, and then how many clubs have said bye-bye already to the European Super League because they believe that the Super League is not one that's for the fans and it's not in support of the aim of football. So join me, sit tight, let's take a ride back into memory lane. So 32 months ago, in April 2021, the European Super League was announced. And then it was spearheaded by Real Madrid club president Florentino Perez, who also doubles now as the European Super League president as it stands. There were 12 founding members of the European Super League. I'll give you the names. Real Madrid was one of them. There was Barcelona in there, Atletico de Madrid, Inter Milan, and AC Milan. Juventus also in there, all three clubs from Italy. In England, there was Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, Chelsea, Arsenal Football Club, Manchester United, and then Manchester City. So 12 founding members. Now, 9 of them dumped the idea initially, and then even now, 10 of them have dumped the idea. So out of these 9 founding members, it's only Real Madrid and then of course Barcelona, as you can see them in your shots there, their club presidents representing, and then also they are meeting with the A22. A22 is actually the company that's promoting the European Super League, and their president or CEO is Ben Richard. So you can see him and Florentino Perez as well as Juan Laporta in there. They're having a good time, if you ask me. Now, on Thursday, there was a ruling by the European Court of Justice in Luxembourg about the European Super League case. Now, the court ruled that UEFA and FIFA have abused a dominant position by threatening the Super League clubs and players with their sanctions and threats. Right after this, just within an hour, the A22, that's the company that's promoting the European Super League, came out and released a new proposed format for this. So the new competition has a new format now. It is going to be 64 teams in 3 tiers. So we have the Star League, there's a Gold League, and then of course there's a Blue League. The Blue League will have 32 teams. The Star and the Gold Leagues will have 16 teams each in them. The teams in each of the leagues will split then into groups of 8, and then they'll be playing each other in a home and away basis, just as the UEFA Champions League format is. There's a home and away basis. That's how the games are going to be, even at the group stage level. And then it will guarantee at least 14 games per season per club in that competition. So 14 games at least in that European Super League format. And then, of course, the group games will take place within the midweek evenings between September and April. So the scheduled date for that is in 2024, between September and April. Those will take place. So more or less like coming to replace the UEFA Champions League, or having the same notion to compete with them on such a high stage. Now, so the top 4 clubs from the Gold and Star Leagues, and then 2 from each group in the Blue League, would progress now to the quarterfinal stages. Now, the quarterfinal stages, what we have is that it's also going to be in 2 legs. So there's a home and away basis for that one as well. And then also the final will be 1 leg, and it will be played in a very neutral venue. All the games can be streamed for free by fans. Now, this is one interesting development that is making the whole argument very tricky. Now, the perception that the European Super League is not for the fans, the A22 would want to push that one out of people's minds. And then to do that, they are proposing that it is going to be streamed free on digital platforms. So fans can stream the games free of charge, right? That's the proposed format that's coming from the 822 and from the European Super League. Now, in regards to relegations and promotions, this is how it's going to be like. So, in the Star League, you know that there are 16 teams there. So, the one team that places bottom on that log, the 16th slot, is going to be relegated. Replaced by two finalists. So, the top two who happen to be from the Gold League, they will come and replace that one team that finished last. The same format continues for the Blue League, which will also have a lot of demotions as well. So your qualification to the European Super League would depend on the performance that you have in your local league. So for example, in the Premier League, your performance in the Premier League will suggest whether or not you are supposed to be part of the European Super League. And then of course the decision will be made whether to adopt you as part of the European Super League or not. Now, this is where it all becomes interesting because A22 CEO, I mentioned to you earlier on, his name is Ben Richards. He was in conversation. He came out and he declared that football is free. The monopoly of UEFA is over. Football is free. Now, this declaration also stirred up some controversy because, football was never in chains. If you ask some of the people, football was not said to be in prison. But then the declaration from the German is that football is finally free. And then, of course, the monopoly of UEFA is over. For them, solidarity payments are guaranteed. And then, of course, I told you earlier on that there will be a free streaming platform that is state of the art. That will be for the fans as well. And then also, right after this declaration, there was a conference by UEFA on Zoom, which hosted a couple of fans as well as representatives of the clubs in Europe. And then UEFA President Alexander Seferin was speaking. He tried to make fun of the European Super League because as it stands now, no, let me just read what he said to you. Now, according to him, he hopes that the European Super League starts and it's going to be a fantastic competition with just two clubs. I told you earlier on that 12 founding members started this, 10 ditched the idea away. Now, with the exception of Real Madrid and Barcelona, all the top leagues, all the top clubs in the leagues have come out to declare their support for the UEFA Champions League, and that matter for UEFA. Don't forget that the European Clubs Association president, Nasser Al-Khelaifi, was also present at the meeting, and he also made declarations that were quite disturbing, if you ask me, because he was trying to question the history of A22, he's trying to question the origin, and then of course he's trying to question the intention of A22. So he asked, who are A22? Where did they come from? And what are they doing here? I mean, it's basically a question of a boss trying to ask a subordinate, who are you? What are you doing? What do you want here? I figure that's the communication he wants to trigger now to A22. The clubs that were not present at the meeting, 2 or 3 clubs that he mentioned, obviously Barcelona and Real Madrid are 2 of the 3. If there are 3 clubs that were not present, they were not threatened. According to him, they were not banished, or they have not been banished, because for them and the European Clubs Association, they are very open. They support everyone as well. Now, the real situation is that the Premier League clubs have kicked against this idea. So for Tottenham Hotspur, they're out. Arsenal have come out to declare their support for UEFA. Manchester United and Manchester City same. Chelsea have done that already. I've talked to you about Newcastle, who have also declared support for UEFA and the UEFA Champions League. In Italy, same. AC Milan are out, Inter Milan are out, AS Roma no, and all the other big teams, Atalanta, have come out to declare their support for the UEFA and for the UEFA Association Super League as well. In France, don't forget that Nasser Al-Khelaifi is the president of PSG, and there's no way he's backing the idea, so he's out of the European Super League idea. Then, of course, Monaco have also decided not to partake in this tournament or competition, if you like. And then, of course, so in Italy, De Laurentiis, who's the president of Napoli, SSC Napoli, has said that he would be in touch with Florentino Perez and then, of course, the European Super League to discuss matters. According to him, the football in Europe is run by old men who have no vision for the future. That's according to De Laurentiis, who's your favorite customer over there. Don't forget that the European Super League was designed for 64 teams. Now, there are no clubs in England, as it stands, who want to take part. There are no clubs in Spain, for example, with the exception of Real Madrid and Barcelona, who are ready to be part. Atletico Madrid have decided to stay out. And then, of course, Atletico Bilbao, Sevilla, Villarreal, Valencia, all the big guys, they have decided to stay out of this one. And then in Portugal, FC Porto have released a statement in support of UEFA and the UEFA standings. They are not going to take part in the UEFA Super League. In Germany, there's no way that the Germans are going to allow any Super League in Germany because of, exceptionally, their 50+1 rule, which makes their clubs solid and it makes their clubs owned by the fans. I mean, the fans in Germany, they own the clubs because of the 50+1 rule for them, which has made their football very successful with low pricing of tickets and then, of course, leading to high attendances or high average attendances over the season. So for them, there's a no-go area. Typically, Bayern Munich have opted out. Borussia Dortmund are out. We are to hear from Leipzig, who will communicate officially, I'm expecting, in due course of time as we go on. But the top guns have decided to stay out of this one. All the clubs are saying they are not part. So with the exception of Barcelona and Real Madrid, who is going to be part of the European Super League? That is the question that we are still asking. Here's the icing on the cake. 12 founding members, 12 very big clubs across Europe decided to start a Super League. 10 of them have ditched the idea. Now we are left with 2 giants, and they are all in Spain. It's Real Madrid and it's Barcelona. This is about the first time in a long while I'm hearing Barcelona and Real Madrid agreeing to something, and this one is big for them. For them, it's about who wants it the most, and it's them. So they have decided to stay and join the Super League. But hey, the big question is, where are the 62 other teams who are going to be forming part of the European Super League? Because as it stands now, 64 teams are needed in this new format that's provided by A22, but we only have 2. How are we going to get 62 more to fill those slots? That is my question for you. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. This one should be very intriguing for you, and I think that you should be able to also tell me something below. My name is Felix Ebudakwa. Thank you very much for joining. Subscribe to this channel for updates in terms of sports everywhere in sport. Please subscribe to this as we move on. Thank you.